Damian Pierce, the Florida running back, highest rushing grade in the country last year, never started for Florida. Was a split time type of guy, but I fully expect him to have a good combine. Probably not going to test great in the 40. I don't think he's that kind of guy, but the jumps is going to be fantastic. He's already checked in at the Senior Bowl 5'9", 220, which is like lab size for a running back in terms of just translating to the NFL and breaking tackles. He had the highest forced missed tackle rate in the country this past season. Good hands out of the backfield. Like, there's a lot to like about him, except for he just probably is not the most. Probably is not going to have the best long speed in the class, but like his long speed's no worse than Najee Harris's was last year. Probably even better than what Najee Harris was.
What about comparing him to Devonte Williams? Devonte Williams also.
That's more of a similar. Yeah, it's more of a similar size type of back. He's even a little bigger, and he was a freaksless guy for being like 6% body fat at that size. Like there's a lot to like about him. He had one of the best reps at the Senior Bowl too in pass protection. He is NFL ready in that regard, which is a reason a lot of running backs don't end up seeing the field at the NFL level. So now 74th in the PFF draft board is like whatever. Don't look at the PFF draft board to see our takes on running backs and how good we think they will be, because that's going to be skewed. But RB3 in this class behind Kenneth Walker, Breece Hall, that's good company. It's good company for him.
Jack Lichtenstein, who is a Duke University, who graduates in 2022 from Duke University, has a consensus board Shiny app that I've been leveraging. You are by far the highest on Damian Pierce that anyone is at 74. Other outlets have him more in the 130 to 220 range. He's also
220 is wrong. Just say that right
now. He's also one of the prospects that have the bigger standard deviations, right? He's like 50 in the standard deviation. A lot of people wide scale. Some people don't even have him ranked, right?
That's probably why.
Yeah. Some people don't even have him ranked. So Damian Pierce, he's going to be your guy. At least that's where the consensus is now. Next player on your list is Skyy Moore. Before you kind of dive into like why he's your guy, he's the 30th ranked player on your draft board. No other outlet has him higher than 90. He is also, in the 94 for ESPN, 94 for the Draft Network, 233 for drafttech.com. And that's another board that there's being factored into this evaluation. But like, this is another guy. I guarantee you, regardless of what he does at the combine, just from conversations alone, we'll be rocketing up ESPN's board and other people's boards as well, because when they go back and watch the tape, when they hear how other people view him, I do think he might end up being like a consensus top 80, top 75 type of player.
Yeah, and again, it comes back to it's just like a lot of people probably haven't watched a ton of them. It's like not a lot of people also can like have access to Western Michigan's all 22. So Skyy Moore, we've talked about him a bunch. Don't have to repeat it, but he was the highest graded wide receiver in the country last year. Wide receiver 6 in PFF's draft board, 30th overall. He just gets open, man. I didn't matter who he played. Pittsburgh, Power 5 competitions on the schedule, no one could hold him. He is shifty as can be. Very Randall Cobb-esque, Deontay Johnson-esque, like that level of just make you miss at the line that, not going to be the height sort of threshold that you love, but I don't think it really matters.
Bernhard Raimann, next player on your list. He's the 15th ranked player on PFF's draft board. No other outlet right now has him inside their top 30. He is rocketed up after what a lot of people are saying when you read some of the analysis from the Senior Bowl, where it wasn't like an otherworldly impressive Senior Bowl for Bernhard Raimann. There's also been some analysis and some concerns on he's going to be a 24-year-old rookie, right? Like you're thinking about development at that point, but you still firmly have him as the 15th ranked player on your draft board.
Yeah, so age is case by case. Devonte Wyatt's on here. He's going to be 24 years old as well, the defense tackle from Georgia. That's obviously not ideal. You'd rather the guys be 21. But Bernhard Raimann, just to go through kind of his path to this point, was he came to the USA as a junior, as a foreign exchange student, played wide receiver, got offered for Central Michigan off of that tape that he played as foreign exchange student, went back for a senior to Austria, enrolls in the Austrian army as compulsory service before ending up coming back to America to enroll at Central Michigan. So he's played almost zilch football when he enrolls at Central Michigan, starts at tight end, 2 years there, switches offense tackle, 60 pounds over the next 2 years. He develops second highest graded tackle in America this past season. And from everything I've heard from people who have worked with him, takes coaching better than anyone they've ever worked with, works harder than anyone they've ever worked with, like the dream scenario, and is going to go to the combine and test very, very well. Like, the guy is a hell of an athlete on tape. So all that mixed together, I feel confident that the 24 years old is not something I'm terribly worried about. And that might even make him more pro-ready than some of these other tackles because of it.
I'm excited to see how he tests the combine, because if he does show up, as you said, because like some people are also concerned about the 33-inch arms, right? Like some people don't want him longer arms and all that stuff. If he does test well at the combine,
I heard 4.8s. He's going to run the 4.8 somewhere.
4.8s,
which
wow,
is
that would be hot.
That's cooking for OT.
Next player on your list is actually not someone you're objectively higher on than everyone else. You highlight a lot of prospects like that. It is Tyler Linderbaum, who's currently the 12th ranked player on PFF's draft board. CBS Sports has him 5th, Sports Illustrated 7th, Bleacher Report 8th, Draft Network 11th. However, we're obviously factoring a lot of positional value into that. If you were ranking Tyler Linderbaum and threw positional value out the window, I mean, he's a top 3,
probably 1 or 2.
Yeah, right by Kyle Hamilton, right?
Yeah.
Kyle Hamilton's probably a higher on the list as well,
there,
but
yeah, that's it with Tyler Linderbaum. And it's like, yeah, maybe he's not the most scheme diverse, but even then, it's I push back on that. I think he's still going to excel. I don't think it matters what scheme he goes to.
So you don't see him limited to his own scheme?
No, I don't. Like, he's undersized, but he moves people. Like, he legitimately moves people off the ball still. Ask Tristan Wirfs if he can move people. The dude, he beat him in wrestling, is a guy who was, a year younger than him coming out. So, yeah, Linderbaum, IOL 1, no doubt, slam dunk, whatever you want to say, 360 between the legs windmill. He's that guy.
We'll get to that read later. Devonte Wyatt, another player you're highlighting here. You have him 38th on your board, which
25th,
is higher.
the PFF
25th, excuse me, which is higher than how CBS Sports sees it, Draft Network sees it, Sports Illustrated sees it. You're right up there with right up there with ESPN 23rd ranked player, Bleacher Report 23rd ranked player, and PFF obviously at 25. He's a guy too that I hate to be the saw it live scout, but when you saw it at the Senior Bowl, dude, he was different along that interior defensive line.
And we touched on why that matters for a guy like Devonte Wyatt. When Georgia's scheme, it's Georgia's, not just Georgia's scheme, Georgia is scheme first. They were like, scheme, execute your role. And that's, that leads to a great defense when you have the talent they do. But in the NFL, a lot of times you're still the difference makers get to go one-on-one, get to have some freedom within a scheme. That's how you make an impact. And Devonte Wyatt got some freedom at the Senior Bowl. That is kind of, it's a little loosey-goosey. It's go make plays. And the dude was making plays left and right. Highest pass rushing grade of anyone in attendance that over the week. So that was nice to see. That makes you feel confident. Yeah, they're not going against world beaters on the interior line. Whatever. But DT1, case closed. That's what it's going to be this year.
One of my favorite edge players in this class is also on your list, Kingsley Enagbare, where I do think there's a lot of polarizing opinion on him. CBS Sports is the highest on him at 30th overall on their big board. You have him at 35th. Others, though, Bleacher Report 82nd. Oof. Wide opinion on what they feel Kingsley Enagbare will do at the next level. Draft Network at 60th, ESPN at 48th. There is a wide range of opinions on Enagbare, and I think the comment's going to be massive for him, right? Because what has been tagged for him, for everyone, is like, he doesn't got the juice of these other guys. Yeah. No juice. The arm length is there. The size is there. The production is there. He's got one of the highest pass rush win rates in a single season we've ever seen at the collegiate level. He shows up at the combine and isn't terrible, like isn't below average across the board or low percentile across the board. I do think that more people will get on board with him as this top 50 player, but the combine could kill him too. Like if he's a 25th percentile athlete, you're fucked. Like you're going to drop down significantly down the board.
And even if he's not elite athlete, he has a way to win, which is that 35-inch arms. 35-inch arms is a good way to win. That's longer than the vast majority of tackles are even going to go against. That's a difficult, and he knows how to use that length already. That's a big starting point. That's why he had the second highest pass rushing grade behind Aiden Hutchinson in the country last year. So, yeah, I do still trust that to a degree, that knowing what to do on a football field, even if he doesn't really know. And that's kind of the other thing about him, is he looks so loose out there, like so unrefined in even the moves that he's successful in, that can be improved. And you saw him at the Senior Bowl. Like the defense line coaches were all over him after the reps because of that, because he can improve his technique a lot. And so I think there's still room for growth, even if he's not, like you mentioned, maybe not a high-end athlete for the position.
Next player on your list, Leo Chenal. Chenal.
Say it every time.
Whatever. What is it? Is Chenal?
Chenal, yeah.
Is it really Chenal?
Yeah.
Leo Chenal is another player similar to Skyy Moore that as more people watch his tape, I do think will rocket upwards. Because right now you are the highest on him by a country mile at 37th on your big board. ESPN has him at 72nd, Draft Network 109, CBS Sports 115. Other people haven't even Bleacher Report doesn't even have him on their big board. Like he's not there. So Leo Chenal is going to be someone, in my opinion. Chenal?
Yeah.
Or Chenal? Why
I
is
said
it spelled
Chenal both times.
Why is it spelled like Chenal?
So it's spelled like Chanel too. If you want.
I guess. All right. Leo Chenal. You're the highest on him of anyone right now in sports media. And you've waxed poetic about him as maybe even a back end of the first rounder type.
Yeah. 94.1 run defense grade. Second highest we've ever seen in a single season.
Behind Micah Parsons?
Behind Micah Parsons. He's going to be a good run defender because he's 6'2", 260. Like, this is a unique dude, and he's a better athlete than Zaven Collins was coming out. Now, Zaven Collins was better in coverage. Probably had a longer wingspan, a little more sphere of influence. But Chenal's going to test better. The guy can move. So that to me is the thing that I'm not sure it's really, until the combine, you're going to see him shoot up boards, because combine is probably going to go 4'6", 35+ inch vertical, low shuttle. Like he's an all-around athlete despite that, even at that size. So not for everybody. We've said this a lot. Not for everybody. 260 is a unique dude. And you're even at, I don't care how athletic you are, 260, there's a low percentage chance you're going to be an impact player in coverage. But certain schemes, anything that blitzes a lot, you're going to want to stay.
I also don't think, I also don't think that Leo Chenal,
there you go,
doesn't have to be limited to like this blitzer at the next. I think
he doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just saying he's damn good at that.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that you're going to want to take advantage of. It's like Micah Parsons. He didn't have to go to a scheme that rushed the passer the whole time to be an impact player. He can make impact plays in coverage, but he's not going to be like a Levante David in coverage. Luke Kuechly, that's not what you're expecting out of these guys. You're just expecting a guy who can wrap up in space as his main way of making plays in coverage, not necessarily plays on the football.
Trent McDuffie next on your list. You are high on him, 8th ranked player on your draft board. Others are more in the 50s or 30s. Sports Illustrated at 54.
54? I'm floored if you have him at 54 on your draft board. I'd need to see how many corners they have ahead of him. I
don't have that in front of me right now, but I'm just giving you the.
I know. I'm not getting mad at you. I'm getting mad at a vacuum here.
Yeah, you have him as an 8th ranked player. I think he's another guy again. This is another guy. And I'm not trying to I feel like when I say that, I'm not trying to say, well, PFF's ahead of the game. PFF's got it all covered.
No.
But the athleticism will show up.
Yes.
People will flock to him when he goes to the combine.
He might go. I wouldn't be surprised if he really is a, 4.4 flat, 40-inch vertical, 11-foot broad jump. Like just every single test knocks out the park. Sub 4-second shuttle, 6.83 cone. Some just all around ideal athlete, because that's what he looks like on tape. Just as smooth as can be. Balance is terrific and explosive as hell. Trent McDuffie is he's the 8th overall player in PFF draft board. And then the other thing is, with all these guys, like I said, Chenal, 2nd best run defense grade I've ever seen. Devonte Wyatt, highest graded Power 5 defensive tackle this past year. Linderbaum, obviously highest graded center 2 years in a row. McDuffie, 3 straight years since his true freshman year. Coverage grades over 80. Only missed 6 tackles on 101 attempts his entire career. From the rip, this guy has been a very, very good cornerback.
Jalen Pitre, who I thought you wouldn't be so much higher on than everyone else, especially after the Senior Bowl. I think a lot of people came out of the Senior Bowl excited about him. The physicality he plays with. He's one of the highest graded run defending cornerbacks in all of college football last year. Productive player. I think he immediately can slot into the slot next year. You have him as your, I think, 28th ranked player on the board. Mm-hmm. Others have him more often in the 30s. Draft Network has him as low as 151 on their draft board on Jalen Pitre.
Interesting. That one's interesting. Yeah, I mean, he was a slot cornerback is the weird sort of projection with Pitre. But he is a guy who actually, so he played almost high-level starter snaps way back as a freshman, 409, but now he's a fifth year. That was back in 2017. Now he's fifth year and was easily the best slot cornerback in the country last year. He had the most defensive stops of any defensive back with 50. I believe he had the second most pressures with 25. This guy just around the line of scrimmage. So he's 5'10 and a half, I believe, 196 when he checked in the Senior Bowl. I think he could play linebacker in the NFL if you wanted him to. The right scheme, he could be a weak side linebacker. And he can't take on blocks all the time. Could be a bit of a liability, but he can take on blocks enough and get around them. Like he beats pullers and shit. Like he is, who was saying that he was the toughest guy to block there at Senior Bowl? One of the tight ends, the Nevada tight end.
Yeah.
Cole Turner. So this guy is what's one of the classics? He's a football player.
Love that.
Classic scout terms.
Absolute football player. Kirby Joseph is going to round out your list, and you're actually not overwhelmingly higher on him than everyone else. I think everyone has a very similar opinion on Kirby Joseph. He's in that 65 to 90 range for others that have had them on their draft board. A lot of people like him as this top of round 3 type of player.
Yes, so 6'7" PFF, safety 5. And now you wish he had more tape. You wish he had more than just 1 year as starter. And it's like a little concerning they could only play 1 year as starter for a program like Illinois, but super long arms. And the thing I love, and I don't usually talk about this the way like scouts talk about this, but like the way he played on special teams was awesome. 16 tackles on special teams in his career, never missed a tackle on special teams. He's been a terrific tackler as a safety over his career. 104 tackles with only 10 missed tackles in his career, just as a safety. That's a good starting point. With 5 picks last year, 4 pass breakups, ball production, and good tackler is a very, very good starting point for a safety.